Before we break down this developing situation in Philadelphia, please hit that like button on this video right now to help us beat the algorithm, and drop your name and city in the comments below. I want to see exactly where the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is tuned in from today. Now, let's get right into the report regarding a situation that has shifted from a minor concern to a full-blown emergency inside the NovaCare complex. I have been tracking the chatter around the league, and while the national media has been focused on the offensive line rotations or the quarterback play, the real story developing behind the scenes involves a crisis that could derail the entire postseason run. We are looking at a scenario where the Philadelphia Eagles have a glaring kicking problem, and my sources indicate it is becoming impossible for the coaching staff to ignore. You simply cannot go ostrich on this situation and bury your head in the sand hoping the mechanics fix themselves, because the reality is that this 2025 Eagles squad is operating with narrow margins. Despite clinching the division earlier than last season, the path to Repeatsville and a deep playoff run relies on the formula that secured their 10 wins so far: suffocating defense, timely offense, and reliable field goals. Right now, that third pillar has completely crumbled. The data I have compiled regarding Jake Elliott's recent performance is frankly alarming. Over his last 9 games, Elliott has missed 7 field goal attempts. He is currently sitting at 11 of 18 in that stretch. To put that in perspective, that is a conversion rate of just 61.1%. When you look at the league-wide metrics, he currently ranks near the absolute bottom, 24th among qualified kickers, with a season-long conversion percentage of just 70.8% on 38 of 54 attempts. In the modern NFL, where games are decided by 3 points or less with increasing frequency, 70% is simply not sustainable for a championship contender. My analysis of Saturday's game against the Commanders in Landover suggests that we reached a breaking point. We witnessed a missed 43-yarder that for a veteran of his caliber should be automatic. That was followed by a 57-yard attempt wiped out by a penalty, and then a 52-yarder that he missed anyway, pulling it wide left in identical fashion. While the box score officially records 2 misses, the psychological toll on the sideline counts as 3 failed attempts to execute. From a historical standpoint, the company Elliott is now keeping is ugly. I've looked back through the franchise archives, and Elliott has become the first Eagles kicker to miss 7 field goals in a 9-game span since Chris Boniel did it between Week 2 and Week 10 of the 1997 season. Furthermore, his 61.1% accuracy rate since Week 7 represents the worst 9-game stretch by any Eagles kicker since Roger Ruzek went 6 of 12 during a dismal run in 1992. What makes this stretch truly alarming to the scouts and insiders I speak with is not necessarily the distance of the misses, it is the routine nature of the failures. These are kicks that used to feel inevitable. We saw a 41-yard miss in Minneapolis, we saw a 48-yard miss against the Chargers, and then the 43-yard miss this past Saturday in Washington. These are the chippies that a contender banks on, and they are no longer being deposited. This infected slide has had tangible consequences on the standings. In the recent 3-game slide, Elliott missed kicks against the Cowboys and Chargers that my model suggests would have ultimately swung the outcome in the Birds' favor. If those balls go through the uprights, Philadelphia is likely sitting in the catbird seat right now as the undisputed #1 seed in the NFC. I won't even labor the point on the missed PAT he flubbed against the Bears on Black Friday, which sucked the air out of the link and destroyed the momentum, forcing the team to chase points unsuccessfully for the entire second half. Before this season, Elliott was converting 92% of his field goals inside 50 yards for his career. This year, that number has plummeted to 81%, while the league average sits at a comfortable 91%. The regression is sharp, and it is undeniable. The most telling signal of all, however, didn't come from the stat sheet. It came from the headset of head coach Nick Sirianni. When Sirianni chose to go for it on 4th and 7 in the third quarter of the Commanders game rather than allowing Elliott to attempt a 56-yard field goal to tie the game, it said everything you need to know about the internal confidence level. The Eagles converted thanks to a penalty, but the message was broadcast loud and clear to everyone in the stadium and watching on television. The faith is gone. The trust that Sirianni once had in his usually reliable special team star has evaporated. That matters significantly because Elliott built his reputation on those clutch long-distance moments. In his first 7 seasons, he was a staggering 8 of 9 from 56 yards and beyond. Over the last 2 years, he is just 2 of 8. The kicks that once defined his career are now being actively avoided by the play caller. We all acknowledge that Elliott was a Super Bowl hero. That was 8 years ago. He was mostly deadly in last year's run, going near perfect in the postseason. But if you recall the 2 extra points he missed in the divisional round against the Rams, those errors allowed Los Angeles to come within 13 yards of eliminating the Birds. They survived then, but you cannot bank on survival when you are aiming for a dynasty. Hope is not a strategy. The Eagles are facing an uncomfortable question that I believe they must answer immediately. Do you keep hoping this works itself out? Normally, patience makes sense with a proven veteran. You trust the body of work. But the Eagles are not in a rebuilding year. They are in a window where they are trying to win tight games in January. Nothing swings playoff football faster than missed field goals. As crazy as it sounds given Elliott's tenure, my sources suggest the Eagles have to at least explore alternatives right now. Not in the offseason, not as a contingency plan, but this week.
When the head coach would rather risk 4th and long than trust his kicker, the doubt has already crept into the building, and that is a cancer you cannot bring into the playoffs. It is a real concern that has to be addressed before the wildcard round. I need to know where you stand on this immediately. Do you stick with the veteran through this historic slump, or do you make the ruthless move to bring in competition before it's too late?